Welcome back. Welcome back, PrepperNow. Had a bit of a spicy one over on the old crisis report, but, you know, when you end your broadcast off with a bus full of children being kidnapped or potentially hijacked by new neighbors that should not be here, kind of makes you mad, you know. I got a little bit of a soft spot for our youngins, you know. I care. I got 3 myself, so I can't even imagine what that story is. I'm going to need to read more into that, so I'm not going to go there, but we are asking the question tonight, are we collapsing as a nation? It's because you ask people around, I'm sure they're like, no, we're fine, everything's great. I think when we go through some stuff, you're going to pretty much see that the way we're going is the trajectory is collapse. Okay, so buckle in, and we're going to start with one little tidbit. Okay, one little thing that just shows where we're at. Now, I personally think when we're allowing anybody and their brother to come on up here, new neighbor style, and they're to the point, they're so brazen that they're kidnapping school buses from children, I think we're on the road. So there's a guy that I watch named Stephen Van Meter. He is a channel on YouTube, trader, you know, like TRADER. He's got platforms and stuff, but he's good. He's smart. He's technical. It's not the kind of video where you're going to get, you know, like this one, a lot of doom and gloom and stuff. But the guy knows his stuff, and one of the questions he was asking was, could Libya send America into a recession? And the answer is yeah, potentially. So there's been a major event, and I'm sure you've never heard of it or you're not hearing about it. I haven't really heard about it. So I thought we'd start here, and then we'll go into the main doom buffet. Libya has a huge oil reserve in Africa. You know, over 1 million barrels per day, which is substantial. Actual production levels can fluctuate, of course, as they say here, conflicts. Well, if you've known anything about Libya in the last 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, I always remember the sage words of Hillary Clinton when she said, we came, we saw, he died. I think it's something to that effect. Muammar Gaddafi, of course, was taken out, and it left an incredible power vacuum because the guy had been in charge for 40-some years or something like that. So, you know, Libya, for the last 10 to 12 years, has had a lot of problems. On its coast, there's an open-air slave market. It's basically in a soft civil war perpetually. As warlords are commanding different parts of the country. It is a failed state. And America has, you know, I mean, we kind of lit the fuse on that whole thing by taking out Gaddafi. Now, say what you will about Mr. Gaddafi. I think he said something about gold and his currency and all that. I don't remember. Whatever. Point is that Libya makes oil. They help the global production, and the world needs oil. Much they want wind and sun and all that to run things. Unless they want 2/3 of the planet to starve to death, we're going to need fossil fuels for a little while more. So they're halting their production. They're stopping. Prices dropped 3%. You know, well, that's great. That's great. Yeah, initially. But it could go the other way. So, production halt and their output, of course, affects not just the country, but affects everybody. Conflict of leadership or the whole country is in conflict. Political division between Libya's rival governments, and they have two governments, escalated with the eastern government based in Benghazi, supported by military leader Khalifa Haftar, declaring the halt in oil production despite its lack of international recognition. The eastern government and Haftar control most of Libya's oil fields, and that gives them the leverage. So if this were to go down and keep going, it would send the world into problems with oil. When there's problems with oil, you've got problems with finance. And you've got problems with finance, you've got problems. I might remind you that today, $981 million worth of Bank of America was sold by Mr. Warren Buffett. That's a pretty large play. When you're making that kind of a thing, you're kind of saying to the world, I think this is a big turd, and there's no matter how much you want to polish that sucker, it's not going to shine. So why are we talking about oil? Well, all things are interconnected. And here is a article that makes the case on Zero Hedge that we are collapsing in real time, especially in this country. So it starts off with how we used to be, and it's like, oh, well, we used to be an optimistic country. We had people that actually gave a crap about where we are as a country and what we do. And, we had people that wanted to lead and not just get in there for a great pension or stock trading tips. They actually cared about the people or the country. They really did. There was a time. I know it's probably older than most of us here, but there actually was a time when people kind of cared about humanity, cared about the things going on in Europe when a certain couple of people were on the march and trying to take over countries. Cared about finances when we were at our lowest and there was a depression. Cared about freedom and fighting for the wall, of East versus West. And now that's all getting flipped on its ear. West is becoming East and East is becoming West. As the new meme is gone, are we the baddies? And I think there's an element of truth to that. I think that the people running our country right now are not just inept. In fact, I think they're not inept at all. I think a lot of it is purposeful. I think what they're doing is on purpose. They're told by their masters that we have to sunset the SS America, and we got to get set things over in the old Giner, in that area, or elsewhere, wherever it may be. So the mistakes are too stupid, and they're too willful. They're too stupid and too willful for just be, random stupidity. I deduce that this is all on purpose. Okay? So let me take you through this. House divided, it says. States don't feel very united right now. In fact, country might be more divided than it's been at any time since Richmond fell to U.S. troops in 1865. So, referencing the CW, of course. Decades ago, golden age of the 1950s, Republicans wanted to build a prosperous by cutting federal taxes, letting people keep more of their money. Democrats wanted to build a prosperous nation by using federal law to give more people rights at work. I think a lot of the people I work with, I'm in education, I think a lot of the people that are of the Democrat Party bent, they don't know that their party has left them behind. They're still seeing things like it's 1952, and they're the party of labor and unions and wages and all that kind of stuff. But really, when you see the policies coming out and, them taxing unrealized gains and wanting to do price controls and effectively the playbook of what other failed states have done, namely Soviet Union and Cuba, it kind of tips you off that maybe, just maybe, the Democrat Party is a little more communist than they are democratic. So, and, as it says here, that's a simplification. It is, but, I mean, Republican Party was the party of business and, lack of regulation and letting things just kind of follow market dynamics. And, of course, Democrats are the party of the little guy and making sure his wages are fair, yada, yada, yada. That's why the donkey and the elephant. Now we've just basically got a couple of, like, satanic gargoyles on each side. So, yeah. We are divided. I'd say that's a pretty good assessment. And a lot of it's on purpose. We talk a lot here about Marxist conflict theory. It is on purpose. I was telling my students today that 85% of Gen Z cannot coexist in a working environment with people of a different political cost or cloth. To those people that can, I'd say pull up your pants, wipe your ass, and grow a set. I have worked with people that I have disagreed with politically for my entire adult life. I'm working with people I politically disagree with now. I'm not mean to them. I'm not trying to sabotage them. I'm not trying to cancel them. I'm not trying to do anything nasty to them whatsoever. You know why? Because I can coexist with them. And if they ever wanted to throw down on any kind of a debate, I can assure you I do a pretty bang-up job. I might not win, but I'll definitely draw. But that's what they want, really. They want us fighting with each other. They want all of this to be in conflict. Because a house divided, as it says up there, not only falls, it's easy to pick apart and sell things for pennies on the dollar. And that's really what it's about. Let's be honest. They want us to balkanize. They do. Soros has said it. He wants us to balkanize. Why? So he can buy up the little pieces, little parts. We're not as effective if we're 50 states, or if we're 22 states and 18 states and 10 states. 3 little groupings. We're not as effective. We're much more effective as 50 states. So things are getting more violent. I'd say the kids getting kidnapped by the bus, New Neighbors on the bus, or at least the attempt to hijack the bus, shows that violence is becoming something every day. I saw a video in the UK, and this isn't just an American phenomenon, this is a Western phenomenon. Saw a video of a guy that was pushing his child, and he got attacked in the neck. Pretty tough video to watch. Pushing a baby stroller, gets stabbed in the neck. Think about that. Think about what it takes to do that. What would it take for someone to do that? Guys pushing a baby. Violence is the new protest. We all make the meme of the mostly peaceful, right? Everybody knows that joke. Oh, it was a mostly peaceful protest. The exception, I bet you could, Taz. I'm sure you could. I know. I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. I'm talking more about the culture wars that are going on. But I get you. It'd be a good one. It would be. But violence is the new protest. There are people that are out there that are violent. There are people that are out there that are trying to use their force and their power to basically gain their way, to push their way in. How do I know this? Yesterday, there's a really upsetting video of Jocelyn Benson, the something or other of Michigan, I want to say the Attorney General, who was threatening people if they thought that there was some kind of iniquity If someone were to see something that was unfair for voting in Michigan, she came out and basically threatened them. Go look it up. And I'm not talking like an official statement behind this. I mean, she looked like kind of there's a little touch of the demon there. Like, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. That kind of thing. Like a soccer mom coming up to you, saying, "You're not watching. You didn't start my child. I'm going to get you when you're not. I'm going to slash your tires." That kind of look. These kind of people, they don't understand conversation. They don't understand debate. They don't understand working through things. They understand violence. I was thinking about that today. If I were to get into a debate with someone, or if something were to happen, because you look at the Durov thing. Not that I'm anywhere near any of that, but I'm a voice on the internet. What would happen? Like if the police came, and really forced things. That's a real possibility now. Not just here. Copper Indio, thank you for buying me a coffee. I appreciate it. But all over the West. They're setting things up. Someone said it's not democracy that's on the ballot this year. It's actually free speech, and I would agree with that. So when you take away people's voices, they're going to start to do violent things. If Jocelyn Benson starts to take away people's ability to peacefully report things that they think are wrong, I got a feeling she's going to set herself up for potential violence as well. Because when I've said this, I'm not saying it because I take any joy. I'm not saying you should do this. I'm saying this is what I know from history. Okay, and I know a little something about it. When you take people's voices away and you start to do authoritarian things, people get violent. And there's not the cameras in the world or the police in the world are enough to stop people from doing nasty things. I want things to get back to normal, but as it says right now in this thing, we are falling apart. Infrastructure, education, morality, all of it is falling apart. Now, it goes into, what would happen if there's an EMP strike or whatever. I'm more worried about a cyber attack. We had a little taste of that with the whole CrowdStrike thing a month or so ago. Think about what your neighbors, how they would respond. What would they do if there was they woke up and the lights were off, and they were off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, through next week? Would they be able to make it that far? Probably not. Not most people. So, the big worry is because of all these cultural problems, because of all these things going down and problems with unrest, violence in the streets, people losing their jobs, people not able to make ends meet, people not able to put food on the table, that people are going to start to resort to things that are unsavory in nature. If you can't get the medication you need, you might turn to crime. If you can't get the food for your child, the formula, you might turn to crime. There's all kinds of things going on right now in the country that are concerning. And when people get desperate, what is it, the Gerald Salent quote, when people lose everything, they lose it. And we're kind of in the beginning stages of this. Now, of course, this isn't something that's happening overnight. They're going to come out here and say, oh, everything's fine. We're going to be great. Everything is perfect. But go to a Walmart and take a look around. You and I both know it's not that way. Things are not perfect. So, Kamala came out yesterday and said that she's not, going to worry about a mandate over EVs. She also said she's going to stop the new neighbors with a structure. We know both those things are lies. Okay? We get the government we choose, we vote for. Or, yeah. And the government we have right now is doing a lot of shady crap. Let's be honest. And that makes other people do shady crap. Our morals are decaying. I think it was Madison that said, we can't have this kind of a nation of a constitutional republic if the people do not have morals. I don't know the exact quote. I'm not going to attempt it. If you want to put it in, great. But the morals are not there anymore. There are in certain areas. You show up and hear that your neighbor is broke their leg or whatever, and people come over and give you a cake that they baked, or some muffins, or that America still exists in certain areas. When we first moved here a few years ago, the neighbor, who's an incredible gardener, came over and brought us some baked goods. She said, hey, I made you guys some cookies and some bread, and I noticed that you guys have some little children. Just want to say welcome. Because we're out in the country, but we got a little patch of people here. We watch out for each other. That America is still in very tiny drips and drabs around here, but it's going away. 340 million people in the country. As it says here, if we don't have a shared idea of what's right and wrong, a set of moral standards that we all agree to live by, things are going to become unpleasant. I'd agree with that. We're seeing that through all kinds of culture. You can use your imagination. What we expose our children to. What is on our TV? What are our cultural norms? How do we entertain ourselves? Are we doing it by going to the park and sitting and having a picnic with our neighbors, or are we doing drugs in the bathroom? We're becoming more of a nation that does drugs in the bathroom than goes and bakes cake for the neighbors, or goes to the park for a nice picnic. So, we're going broke. We know this. We're over 30 trillion. We're to almost 35 trillion now? 34? I mean, I don't even care anymore. I don't even look. Do you think anybody cares? Do you think most people in America know that number? Do you think they care about it? Because I can tell you where it's going to go. That's why I care about it. What's going to happen is we're going to lose the reserve currency because we can't pay our debts. Inflation's going to go gangbusters. Our interest rates are going to fly off the handle. We're not going to be able to pay our debt down, and we'll only be able to pay the usury on it, and even at that point, that won't be able to happen. It's going to become untenable, and we're going to default. And at that point, they're going to say, hey, America, I know most people use through foreign exchanges your dollar to buy oil, but we're going to go with Bitcoin. We're going to go with the Saudi Arabian Real. We're going to go with the Chinese Yuan. We're going to go with the ruble. We're going to go with a basket of currencies. Sorry. We don't want your dollars anymore. And then every country on the planet is going to get the green light to start sending the suckers back home. And it's effectively like money printing. And what does money printing do? Well, you're feeling it right now. Money printing makes inflation go up. But imagine it on multiple trillion-dollar scale. It would not be pleasant. If you need a bit of a understanding of where all this happened, feel free to look at Weimar Republic. Feel free to look at Venezuela. Feel free to look at some of the Baltic countries. You know, this is not like this has never happened before. It's happened. And people starved. People drank themselves to death. People fell off ladders because they couldn't, pay someone to go fix their roof, and the roof was leaking, and they didn't know what they were doing. They fell down and broke their neck in the fall. Those kind of things happened. A lot. 10% of the Soviet Union lost its life in some means or fashion in the 10 years after it went bankrupt. So right now we owe 31.8 trillion. I don't know where we're at. I mean, is that where we're at? Is it 31, 34? So where are we at? What number are we at with the trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars that we owe? Where are we at? What number are we at? Our government is burning through tens of thousands of dollars faster than you can keep track of. Yeah, they are. Yep. That's why they're going to the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. We've depleted that. And we're down the 35 plus. Thank you. Thank you, Daryl. That's what I thought too. I don't know what numbers they're using, but this thing is much more than 30 trillion. So yeah, we're burning through cash. We know this. Kamala came out and said they're going to tax unrealized gains. What do you think they're going to do when they're super broke? Do you think they're just going to be like, oh, well, I guess we'll stop, Social Security or Medicaid or Medicare or any of the big ticket items. We're just going to stop. We can't do it anymore. Sorry, you got to fend for yourself. You got to get your own health care. Think they're going to do that? They're not. They're not going to do that. They're going to tax the crap out of you and I. And that's where we're at. So we're collapsing. So what's it going to look like? What's it going to look like, PrepperNow? Use your history head. What's it going to look like? Well, I think it's going to resemble, probably, if you need the most recent example, it's going to look a lot like Soviet Union. You'll probably see a default Balkanization, secession kind of combo within about a 6-month time. Figure out that we don't have any money, and the whole scenario where the dollar isn't the reserve dollar anymore, or unit of money on the global scale will happen, and all of our money will come sloshing back home, and inflation will get nuts, and then the South will be like, you know what, we're done. We're going to start a gold-backed currency down here. We're going to call it the Richmond or something like that, or the Nashville or whatever. And they'll start their own, little thing going, and they'll balkanize and they'll leave, and Midwest will do it, and then, West Coast will sit there and think they're hot shit, and they'll start some kind of a socialist, state out there in California, where they'll eventually, die. Same thing with the Northeast. And then at that point, you'll see Asia rise. You'll see, maybe some of the areas in America will be okay with some form of freedoms and all that, but realistically, you're going to follow the lead country, and if the lead country is China, then things are going to get more authoritarian. Your countries are going to want to, be in line with them and say, hey, we want to work with you. We need your business. And China's going to go, okay, but you need to put our security cameras all over and start a social credit system on your people. Oh, that would never happen. No. Yeah, it would happen. It would. It's kind of already happening, really. So, We are end stage republic here. You know, they say a republic goes every 250 years. We're at what, 248? So we're right there. You tack on other things like, strange how all these exotic diseases are starting to come now through mosquitoes. You take all the stuff going on in Eastern Europe, in the Middle East, and potentially Asia. We're not going to be able to fight a multi-tier war, or, you know, a multi-front war. We're not going to be able to in Asia, Middle East, and in Europe. No. And they know it. So right now what they're just trying to do is make us get broke as quick as possible, because as soon as we're out of the game, they're going to go rolling in. But if there's one thing we've seen from our leaders as of late, it's the fact that they are arrogant and stupid. And they would try to take one of these countries on. It probably won't pan out too well for us. So, yeah. Yep. We're in a little bit of a precarious state, friends. A very slow motion train wreck. Yes, Jake. And the problem is it's going to start to speed up. As they say in finance, at first slowly and then all of a sudden. Frank Zappa said it. You know what? We're watching, we're looking at the back, and then all of a sudden they're gonna take all the dressings down. They're gonna remove the curtain, and all you're gonna be seeing is a brick wall. Getting pretty close to that brick wall. Instead of a brick wall, it's going to be a nice little digital jail cell for all of us, where we can't say what we need to say. And if they get their way, which I don't think they will, but if they do, they'll be able to do whatever the heck they want, and you won't be able to say anything about it. So yeah, I'd say this election is pretty important. I'd say, you know, my wife's your typical wife who doesn't like Orange Man bad, and a lot of people. And my new tactic is to say, hey, do you like being able to buy stuff? Do you like, you know, going on a vacation every once in a while? You can mute the man. You don't got to listen to him. But if the policies are terrible and they're affecting your wallet, you can't mute that. That's going to keep going. So here we are. I think we're collapsing. I do. And I don't think it's going to happen overnight. It's going to take time, you know, slow motion, like Jake said. But it's going to start to eventually, in the not-so-distant future, really get moving. So that's why you need to use your time now effectively, okay? Whatever that may be. That's what we're doing. So, folks, we're going to call it on that one. I appreciate you being here. You got over 250 in the room and almost 100 on the like. That'd be great if you did that. Thank you very much. If you're new here, hit the old subscribe button if you like what we're saying. If you want to support, $2 a month, you can be like CH down there. And, yeah, keep the lights going. That also can help with the crisis report. For those that don't know, I do the crisis report. It's a nightly news thing. It's about 30 to 45 minutes, and I just rapid fire go through everything. Talk about the war, talk about inflation, talk about all that stuff. So if you like these kind of videos, hitting the like button and all that would be great. So Texan42, thank you for your support. Mamacita, thank you for being a mod. Miss Allard, thank you for your support. Garvin, thank you for your support. Yep, Texan, you are correct, sir. We all need to pray. So, I don't know if Conserve Friends is here anywhere, but as he says, prep and pray. I agree. All right, friends, I appreciate you. I wouldn't be able to do this without your support, even if you're just listening and you're not able to kick the ducats and all that. It's never a pressure thing. I'll remind, but I'm just glad you're here. Okay? All right, friends. Please keep prepping. Keep doing the things. Keep those little children out there that are on the bus in your prayers, or the person that's struggling with their job, business owner that can't make ends meet and failing. Say a prayer for those people. Those are the people that are really hitting hard right now. I can tell by seeing my students that there's pressures at home. There are a lot of people out there that are not doing well right now. So if you can go on out and smile a little bit and pat on the back a little bit more and be a little bit nicer, it might just be exactly what the doctor ordered for someone and you don't even know it. Okay? All right, friends. God bless. We're going to see you on the next one.